What if I tried beating Terraria as the engineer? Now, the challenge itself doesn't really sound very difficult, so I gave myself some rules and restrictions to make it harder. First are the weapons. I am only allowed to use weapons that are close to what the engineer uses in TF2. Those being any shotgun type, any pistol type, and any wrench type. I am also allowed to use any type of sentry, but not summons, since those aren't sentries. Next are the accessories. I am only allowed to use accessories that improve my weapons or improve my sentry. I am also allowed to use accessories that help the engineer with building, since, engineer. I can also use regen accessories, since engineer has a dispenser. Last is my health. The way I'll calculate this is by taking every single engineer item / weapon and taking only the buffs, meaning health increase, whatever resistance, you get what I mean. We'll also take medic's overheal into account. So taking all the weapon buffs plus overheal, we have engineer's max health, which is 225. This will be the max HP we'll have all the way to Moonlord. With that out of the way, let's begin. Starting off the world, I needed to get myself a decent primary weapon. In order to do that, I first need to find bombs from chests and random pots. I need these bombs to blow up either the Crimson Heart or the Shadow Orbs, for an item that we need to get our primary weapon.
Or are we in it together?
Put certain things on the edge of my sleeve.
I got lucky with the seed generation and was able to find a Crimson Heart close to spawn. After throwing a few bombs, I ended up getting double lucky and got the item I needed on my first heart. Ladies and gentlemen, our first primary weapon. Not the Undertaker. Yeah, I tricked you guys. The Undertaker is not our primary weapon. This is because of the rules, that I'm only allowed to use pistol type weapons. The Undertaker is technically a revolver, so yeah. Then why smash the Crimson Hearts? Well, that's because of the actual item we needed. Bullets. See, when you have bullets in your inventory, the arms dealer NPC can spawn. We are able to buy the mini shark and the flintlock pistol from the arms dealer. For this challenge, we won't really be giving a damn about the mini shark. What we want to get is the flintlock pistol. But first, we need a suitable housing. Oh, finally! Yes! Give me a gun, you black man. Okay, time to grind for some money. Okay, while we wait on the grind, now would be a good time to mention about the world size, the difficulty, and our two goals for this challenge. I am currently playing in a large, Master Mode difficulty world with Drunk Seed. I named it Dust Bowl. Now your first question might be, why Master Mode? Well, that's because Master Mode gives you a higher drop rate for items. It also gives a guaranteed golden trophy after killing a boss. Now your other first question might be, why Drunk Seed? Well, that's because Dungeon Cheese. It also allows us to get items from both Crimson and Corruption, instead of being forced to only choose one. Another reason is because of the goal. Our two goals for this challenge is to beat the Moonlord and beat every single boss. That includes mini bosses. Since the Crimson and Corruption has two different bosses, Drunk Seed allows us to fight them without cutting corners. Alright, long explanation out of the way, we're finally able to get our first primary weapon. Finally. Feels good to actually kill things now. Kind of. After getting a usable weapon, I went forward with my next step, which is to increase my health to 220. However, some events like the Goblin Army and the Eye of Cthulhu can randomly spawn when a player is above 200 health. So I left it on 180. But you know what event is for some reason different from the rest? So apparently, the blood moon occurs when the player's health is above 120, not 200. Now that's not really a problem until you realize our only weapon is a shitty little pistol. At least I can get myself the shark tooth necklace. And I didn't get it. After the blood moon, I did the only reasonable thing to do and continue my elevator. I explored nearby caves and was able to find an extractinator. I would show more elevator footage, but there wasn't really anything interesting to show. Except for this. Whoops, wrong clip. I got a rare pet from the extractinator, with a 0.01% chance of dropping. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I sold the pet to the merchant for money. After a while, there was a slime rain event. I'm usually not happy when random events like these occur, but honestly, I'm not that upset. Plus, I am starting to run out of gel, so this is kind of good for me. All I need to do is just kill some slimes, get more gel, and probably get ready to find a boomstick. So we're fine. As long as, you know, nobody kills over 100 slimes.
Oh, bruh!
If you kill over 150 slimes during the slime raid event, the King Slime boss will spawn. With the ability to stomp their foes and the ability to teleport to the player, you'd think this boss would be somewhat difficult. But even at master difficulty, the boss is actually pretty easy. All you need is an item that can give some small speed buff, and you're all set. You don't even need potions. So it's a surprise to no one that I was able to beat the boss on the first try. Unfortunately, the King Slime didn't drop a slime saddle, so I wasn't able to get myself a mount. Hey, wait a minute. Slime saddle? Yeah, I should probably mention this before somebody asks. I allowed myself to use pets, hooks, and mounts, since there is some resemblance of these items in TF2. Anyway, I need a better weapon. So after a long, painful exploration in the jungle, I was able to find myself the boomstick, finally getting myself a much better weapon. You may also notice my health is now on 220. Well, that's because I'm getting ready for my next fight, against the Eye of Cthulhu. The Eye of Cthulhu is another pretty easy boss, but still a bit difficult. It all depends on your mobility and your buff potions. It is possible to fight the Eye without potions, but it'll be extremely difficult. So after a pretty short fight, I was able to take out the boss. Now, I'm not gonna deny that my boomstick was also another factor on making this fight easier. I still had my potion buffs, so I just farmed for more King Slime bosses to get the slime saddle. Didn't take me long to get it. Now it's time to break Terraria's ranger progression with the dungeon cheese. See, when you play on the drunk seed, there's a chance that dungeon skeletons will spawn in the location where you don't have to fight Skeletron. This allows you to get bones and basically just break progression. Now, how bad is this exploit? Meh.
It looks like a flying cockroach. Night! Flying cockroach and flying eyeballs.
After a long and painful Goblin Army event, I decided to blow up a few shadow orbs to get some money.
What? What? Wait. What boss was that?
Anyway, I'll use this money to reforge all my weapons and accessories to unreal and menacing. This preparation is for my next fight against the Deerclops. The Deerclops is a boss that centers around close range combat. It is possible to fight the boss at mid-range, but without mobility items, it's basically a death sentence. And don't try to fight the boss at far range, it's basically impossible. Now the Deerclops is a massive jump in difficulty from the previous bosses. So with that information, why fight this boss? Well, it's because of my matchups. Out of the 5 bosses that I can fight, Deerclops is the closest to being the easiest boss to set up and fight. Both the Brain of Cthulhu and the Eater of Worlds requires me to have some sort of piercing weapon. Skeletron is extremely difficult and requires a lot of mobility. Queen Bee would be a decent pick, but building the arena in the jungle is gonna be torture. So that's why I chose the Deerclops. While I did mention the Deerclops being difficult, fighting him can be pretty simple. See, the Deerclops doesn't actually have a hitbox between its legs, allowing you to basically just slide in between the legs without taking any damage. But you can't just easily slide on snow. True, unless you replace the ground with ice. Yes, this is literally all we need to fight this boss. So with some last minute preparation and replacing my accessories reforged to warding, it's time to hang this deer on my wall. After beating the boss, I unfortunately wasn't able to get the sentry drop from the Deerclops. So I had to farm him a bit more. I want to take this moment to talk about my hatred for the stupid hand attack. I know it's a mechanic from the original game, but that doesn't make it any less fun to fight against. After a few painful fights later, I was finally able to get my sentry weapon. So, how good is it? Not that great. Maybe we should test it on Skeletron. Okay, maybe I need to fight a much weaker boss. A boss that summons multiple eyeballs and a giant worm. The Brain of Cthulhu and the Eater of Worlds are 2 completely different bosses with the same weakness: Pierce. Well, technically the Brain's weakness is a melee weapon, but we don't have that. I did a test fight to see whether or not it was possible to fight both of these bosses with my current loadout, and the results? Pretty close. All I needed was just some preparations. Speaking of which, there's a party event, which is useful because the party girl will sell pigronitas? I think that's how you pronounce it, pigronitas. These things have a small chance of dropping party bullets, which are a lot better than silver bullets. So after spending half of my life savings, I was able to get myself about 400 party bullets, which I'm sure it's enough. So after all this preparation, I got distracted and started cleaning up my spawn. Hey man, Gotta make the place look nice. Okay, fine. I got my best potions and got ready for my next fight. And with that, we have completed like 20% of the game.